Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 5:30. Today is Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2019. I now call the San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see a lot of faces here. First item on our agenda is our invocation. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. If we could all please stand and bow your heads. Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of economic business development. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go Bears. Next item on the agenda is our roll call. I'll begin with my far right, as we've been doing.
Leroy Gonzalez, City of San Juan Finance Department.
Thank you. Ben Arjona, City Manager.
Art Rodriguez, EDC Director.
Sanchez, Vice President.
Mark Villegas, Commissioner.
Arturo Guajardo Jr., President.
Neto Guajardo, Commissioner.
Ryan Garza, Treasurer.
Thank you. We'll move on to our number 5 item, which is public comments. Do we have anybody registered for public comments today? Okay, and we'll move on to item 6 is our Executive Director's report. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, good evening. I'm about to give you a summary of the things that I've been doing since the last meeting. We opened discussions with Denny's CEO, David Bramble. There is a ribbon cutting that will take place on September the 9th at 7:30 in the morning. The ribbon cutting will consist of course, members of the EDC board, president and members of the EDC board, the mayor and city council. We will have the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce present members. If I may, let me introduce as well. I brought back the redcoats, the ambassadors, and we have 3 ladies sitting here before us from the redcoats, and I'll let our president-elect now that just took place this morning. I'll let you introduce yourself and introduce the 2 ladies that are with you this afternoon.
Welcome, ladies. Where are the red coats? You should have worn them today.
We got one more, Felipe. And there's
Thank
going to be
you
a total of 8 that will be active so far. Okay. All right.
I've been asked before about membership to your group. What do they have to do? Just contact you? Great. So if there's someone interested in joining you, what do they do? Contact you? But if somebody wants to join, do they just contact you? Yes. Okay, very good. I'll send them your way.
President, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I asked Ms. Cuddy to come and join us for the simple reason is that we don't have established a chamber of commerce, so I believe that we need to let our our merchants and our business owners that they are welcome and kind of show a very good attitude, positive attitude from the city of I was gonna say Palm because I've been working there for 20 years.
San Juan.
Excuse me. But, you know, and I think that should be a little bit more vibrant and help us out with helping with our merchants.
Yes. You'd like for me to get information on pictures that, oh, okay. I'll check my own personal, album to see if I have any, and I'll be more than happy to bring them back. Yes, it's been some time. Yes, it has been, but we're happy to have you back. And, Mr. President, if I may, will we have, Mr. Rodriguez, system and structuring them with a time? I don't know if you guys have a time. It sounds to me like you're just coming back, and if that's the case, I'd like Mr. Rodriguez to please assist them and, maybe get a meeting every once a month or have some sort of structure. So, okay, he's gonna be helping you out with that? Awesome, awesome. Okay, great. Sounds good.
Good.
We'll schedule monthly meetings. Okay.
Okay.
We will.
That's good.
Also, she will be presenting, but I've got Stephanie Mendez here from PSJA. And she is part of the Entrepreneurship Advisory Council. And she has been very active in communicating with me and trying to work things out where we could participate as a city and EDC on this. She will have a presentation a little bit later in the line of presentations this afternoon, this evening. But she is here and she will have a presentation as well. And the other presenter is Mr. Lee Little, and he is out of Austin, and he will be coming up here shortly on presentation as well. Tomorrow, there will be a meeting with Hollis, Rutledge, and Associates regarding PSJA and the program, and we're going to try to work together as EDC and the consultant to see if we can work out details on trying to obtain a grant to further the PSJA program. And since the EDC director is responsible to work with PSJA, I took the initiative to get together, and I've been working with Stephanie Mendez and with Eloy Garza on this project. I also sit on a board. I was invited to sit on a board as advisory committee member. I accepted, and we had our first meeting, and so I'll be working diligently trying to get this program off the ground and work together. So tomorrow's meeting will be for meeting the grant consultants and their staff and getting together with PSJA and trying to work the first steps toward that. I've had discussions with Mr. Lee Little, who is here today. He represents the Bar Z Mobile Development Company out of Austin. He will have a presentation this morning, and this is to advertise the city, to be able to communicate to the public through a program, a nice program that he will present. It's a digital app, cell phone app, that will accommodate a lot of interest in a lot of different areas of interest in the city, and we'll be able to promote the city in that fashion. But this is just a presentation, and we'll be able to have further discussions on it. I just want him to present this evening.
Anything else on your report, Mr. Rodriguez?
Just a reminder for those who didn't attend, we did have the congressional luncheon on the 21st. And Congressman Vicente Gonzalez was present as guest speaker there. EDC San Juan did get recognized and thanked for the attendance by County Judge Richard F. Cortez. And I also need to just give as part of my report that we, Martha and I, took care of all the banking requirements to make sure that the EDC director was on the records and had the authority as the board had approved. We obtained the debit cards that in order to be able to process the accounts. We have 4 accounts in place: the EDC General Fund Authorization Account, the EDC Debit Card General Fund, the CEO, executive director debit card. And we did make sure that we had the EDC sponsorship account to accept all donations for sponsorship and to capture them in one area of the banking account. We are dealing with Plains Capital Plains, yeah. I think it was there, if I recall right. It was just kind of, it may have been used once before, but Martha will have a better explanation for that.
Mr. President, I have a question here. With that, the 501c3 application and process, has anybody kept up with that if it is required?
In fact, it's recognized that way by the bank, and we did paperwork to recognize that we were EDC, and I think they already recognize that on their accounts. We just did transfer authorizations as the EDC board requested. That was completed, but
Just make sure if it's current, please. Thank you. Or needed.
had meetings with Mr. Leroy Gonzalez, Finance Director, and I created a memo to Mr. Gonzalez based on the recommendations of the last meeting by this board on what needed to be brought to clarity and to be able to be explained in a better fashion so that this board would understand everything that was going on with the accounts. Mr. Leroy has worked out different details on this. We will get to the finance report on that. We did seek the software company as well, and I don't know if Leroy has an update on that, but the software company was supposed to give us information whether we could actually line up all the columns under the year, the proper years, and put them off to the right. And it was going to take a little bit of doing, but I think it could be done, and we were going to get some information from them today. I don't know if it's come in or not, but
They didn't get back to me. I did, as of Friday when I spoke to you, it was gonna take some time to get it going.
there may be a fee involved as well in updating the software so that we can have that appear correctly, and so there won't be any question.
Let me, if I may, I spoke to Mr. Gonzalez as far as that is concerned. It's an item that I would not recommend, only because of the fact that it's gonna throw our books the way that we're doing things. So whatever we do on the EDC will hurt the city. So at this point, I don't want to change anything that has to do with the columns or with the lineup. And
This wouldn't just be for EDC. It
and
would
that'll
be
be my
for the city.
recommendation on the city.
It would be for the city because
Like I said,
Yeah.
it'll be my recommendation to the city not to change it at this time.
Well, perhaps we could seek an alternative, maybe transposing that data into an Excel spreadsheet to where we can accommodate those numbers.
that can be done.
Right.
That can be done, and
It's not a lot
no,
of data,
it's not a lot. A ledger can be
right?
done
We
for
could do that,
Yeah.
perhaps.
But the intent was not to throw the city off. It was actually going to be paying for updating the software for the city. If you don't want it, that's fine, but that was the intent.
We have to respect the city manager on behalf of the city, but on behalf of the EDC, perhaps we could do something in the alternative, like I mentioned, with an Excel spreadsheet.
And there was no action to be done other than to really figure out how much it would cost. And that was the whole basis for the discussion.
Else, Mr. Rodriguez?
I think I'm really caught up. We've got the new thing that I had suggested, and I'd like to start doing every time, is that when sponsorship occurs and a certain amount is approved by the board, I'd like to have someone here present that will be receiving the amount, so that pictures can be taken with the EDC board and the people who are actually going to be the recipients of the sponsorship amount or the, yeah, well, can't get the big check today, but I'd like to start it off that way. And there is two representatives here that will be coming forth for pictures and with the board. One of them is Mrs. Eloisa Fernandez, the administrator for San Juan Nursing, and she's got two other companions that will introduce themselves at the here shortly. And we also have representation from the foundation from PSJA, and there will be Velma Sue de Leon. Velma, okay. And I don't know the gentleman next to you, but Mr. de Leon. I spoke to him earlier, and in fact, I kind of made sure I was getting the names right, and I called him back for, "Are you Leon de Leon?" And then he says, "Yeah, I'm actually Leon de Leon." Okay, so I said, "Okay." I wanted to make sure I had all the names straight. But, welcome, and that's going to be it for me today.
Very good. Any questions, comments, concerns by the board? If not, we'll move on to our next item. We've got presentations, and we're gonna have several presentations. I've been asked by Mr. Rodriguez to skip to number 5 because this gentleman traveled from Austin to present to us today, so there's nothing against that. We'll move on to item 7.5. It's Barzy Mobile Development by Lee Little, President and CEO regarding mobile apps. Welcome, Mr. Little.
Very glad to be here. My name is Lee Little, and I'm the CEO of Barzy Mobile Development. I have a company out of Austin. We have roughly about 20 some odd people, and we've created about 700, maybe 750 mobile solutions. Today, I wanted to show a product that I shared with your director, is the concept of a mobile community portal. And this is something we've done now for like 7 or 8 years. I've done these in roughly 20 to 25 Texas communities. And what it's designed is a digital version of a printed relocation guide, a digital version of a printed visitor's guide, a digital version of a chamber directory, or an entertainment guide. What we're pulling up is Orange, Texas. Orange is a community of roughly 20,000 people. And in a second, when it shows up here, this is a native iPhone app, a native Android app, and a website. I'm on your Wi-Fi, so hopefully it'll come up here in just a second. Matter of fact, if not, I can get off the Wi-Fi. But what it is designed to do is to provide a digital resource of what your community has to offer. This is our second year in Orange. This is a product that's been downloaded over 4,000 times in that community. We have analytics behind it that show how many downloads, how often people open it up, where do they go on the app, and how do they use it. And so I'm going to kind of give you a walkthrough because this is something we could build for your community. We have a weather widget. It's 93. It's not raining in Orange. We have local events that are going on in the community. What we're doing is pulling events from the chamber, from tourism, from a major attraction in town, and we're pulling it from cities. So we're aggregating content from various sources. So we have featured events, and we can find out what's going on in Orange. And roughly 50% of the users here are from out of the community. The other 50% are locals, okay? And we can track by that. So they have a storage auction. They have cocktails on the patio. That sounds interesting. So we can go in. This app is location aware. So it will provide turn-by-turn navigation to get there and give me driving instructions. It will also give a description of it. This event happens to have a Facebook post, so we can go to their Facebook. These products support video and audio and images. But I've got events going on in the community. Now, they're getting ready for a major event. Every year for the last 77 years, they have the Orange Lyons Carnival, and we treat this as a digital brochure. And this is mainly for locals, but here I have all the information about the 2-week carnival that they have starting at the end of the month. Now, we support push notifications. Orange has bad weather with rain, so we're able to send out push notifications if there's a problem with this, with weather. We have videos about the community. We have where to park. We have the events. We have the schedules. And this is loaded into the system, and we'll pull it up. And I'm not going to do a video because for some reason we're moving slow. And the point here, wait for it to come up. But we have kiddie rides. We have videos. We'll see what we have. We'll see if the Ferris wheel will come up and see if it's going to actually play. And it's going to play here, but you'll see riding the actual Ferris wheel as it feeds through it. This is a major event, and I suspect that your community has events throughout the year that you can populate. I have a shopping guide. I have a dining guide. I have information about car care. It has a major attraction called the Star Cultural Venues. If you've ever been to Orange, it has a botanical garden. It has an art museum. It's loaded with all kinds of theater productions in the area. And so here we have the ability to put this. Our proposal is that we would put something like this together for you. They have a community college right here, the Lamar State College. Maybe there's an alumni here in the room, but we have information about why come to the school. In this case, I can bring in your local high school, your ISD in here as well. I have city information. Now, I know the city has an app here. The San Juan city has an app. That's fine. I can help promote their app on this app. It's fine. But I want to touch on Parks and Rec. I want to touch on quality of life. I want to touch on meet city council meetings. In this case, the city houses their tourism, so we have convention and visitors and information about what to go see and do in Orange on the app. This product can be downloaded anywhere in the world. It can be downloaded in Louisiana, inside the state, outside the state. And you can go in and change the content as often as possible. I have their Chamber of Commerce, so promoting the local chamber, I certainly can do this. By the way, if you want it to be bilingual, that's fine. I've done apps in multiple languages, no problem there. Local schools, car care, where to stay, why relocate in the area, business services, real estate. Again, the purpose here is to take traditionally printed products, visitors guides, relocation guides, shop local guides, dining guides, and make it all into one app. And this is what we've been doing. And my company's 12 plus years, specifically in economic development. Let's go in. And this is one of the economic development groups. We have site locations. We have profiles, community profiles about the EDC, incentives, and we can pull up their various site locations that they have available for it. And we're going to pull this up. It's going to their website, but we can find the various site locations here. How does this get used? Well, I'm not finished with the rest of the product. I'll go back here just to finish it up. We partnered to help promote it with the local radio station, okay? We also promote it with an electronic billboard. We have nonprofits in here. We have all the local churches. Certainly your basilica is something we could promote in here as well, and make that available. The goal here is to have I don't want to say one shop, but this product appeals to both locals and visitors and people considering relocating to the area. This is Orange, Texas. I'm going to show you Odessa, which unfortunately had that shooting over the weekend. Notice that every one of these products is custom, so I could completely have it look and feel and make it iconic to your community. That's fine. Typically, my turnaround for a project like this is 6 to 12 weeks from start to finish. It can be ad supported and supported based on businesses choosing to advertise and promote their business in the area, or it can be strictly editorially driven. My company has something called a digital content curator, and we keep these things updated and fresh throughout the year. This is Odessa, Texas, and unfortunately they had the shooting over the weekend. And so here we added how to donate for any of the victims from the shooting. So this is a pliable product that can be updated literally on the fly. And so the way it works is that the various organizations who would be part of this can have access to update and change their content. We're in Odessa. Again, you're going to see events. They're pretty proud of their Friday night lights, so you'll see information about high school football. They too have a major event coming in. This is their county, and they have a major convention center and an expo there. So we have a list of all of the events that are going on at that Coliseum. So here we have, they have and just become friends, or we'll go, they have a trade days, and we'll just see this is an event. The goal here is to promote your businesses, bring in new businesses, answer the question, what is it that my community offers? What are the events that are in the area? And it's a resource. It is designed to be a hyper-local resource that's digital. And my company has produced, like I said, something like 700 of these. In this model that we have right here, I've got about 22, 23 in the state. Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange, Deer Park, League City, Odessa, Midland, Denver City. I'm building one for them. And so each one of the major groups in your community can have a section inside the app, and they can put in whatever they choose to do. Here's the Economic Development Group in Odessa, and they again have site locations about the community and so on and so forth. Usually this product is spearheaded by the local Chamber of Commerce. In this case, the Odessa Chamber of Commerce represents something like 900 businesses. And in this model, each one of the chamber members would get a free listing. So if I can get a business listing, we can load up businesses in here. And a listing might be, let's just pick one. Here's a self-storage location in Odessa. And the business model can be supported by advertising. Now I just hit the wrong button again. Go back here. There you go. Here are examples of ads. We'll go into a flower shop in Odessa. This would be a paid ad. Images, description, their Facebook page, their hour of operation. So we've been doing this now, and the very first project we did was about 7-8 years ago in a community called Norfolk, Nebraska. And the idea that they had in Norfolk, Nebraska was, let's see if I can find it, is to connect the dots with all the community, a local newspaper, the economic development, the city, the chamber, tourism, their main street, all under one. And I said, well, if it works in Norfolk, Nebraska, it probably works just about everywhere in Texas. So that's where I ended up calling Mr. Rodriguez, and that started the dialogue and how I'm here today. So this is an enterprise class platform. This can handle something like 30 to 40,000 app pages, and it can support multimedia, location aware. Here's Granbury, Texas. I was just in Granbury. They're on their 3rd year here. And we have the city, the chamber, their downtown organization, all part of this. We have their convention center who's part of this. This product is pliable. So you have a community that's changing regularly. New businesses are coming in, businesses are leaving. And I can literally update these things very quickly, and it's on a phone, and it can be downloaded. 90% of the people in your community are on their phones 2 to 3 hours a day. Statistically, we're addicted to these things. People who are considering coming into the community, either for leisure or business travel, are on a phone. And so what we're trying to do is to provide a wealth of information for both locals, visitors, and people considering relocating in the area. And I could show you more, but I think that you might get an idea that what we've done. Anything else I might add? Questions?
Couple of quick questions, real quick. I see a lot of that stuff when you put it up there, and just by viewing, their examples and stuff. It's a great app to begin with. But like, that information, do you all get that just from, say, I saw Yelp, I saw Google Maps? Is it something where you're just taking and putting onto an app?
So
You're taking,
so what?
A lot of that information is already there, I guess. So
Absolutely, and that's correct. But let me address, in the community today, you have Google, you have Yelp, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, and all of that is an uncontrolled message, okay? What we're trying to do is offer you a branding tool to brand your community, help you stick out, and tell your story of what you want your community to be about. So this is, number one, a controlled message. I was in Alice this morning, and the fact that they're able to have a controlled message was very appealing, because in Facebook, you always get the people who are squawking and making negative comments, and that appeals in there. Now, to your point, from content, you're absolutely right. A lot of the content that's coming from here is being aggregated from different websites. And that's exactly, if I can try to do this, give me a second. So hopefully this will come up. Is what we try to do is to, hopefully it'll come up here in a second, is to aggregate information from the city, from the EDC, from the school district, from various websites. There you go. So if I may, you can expand this. Over on the right, we have an iPhone, an Android, and a website. That's the end product. We have a back-end system, which is a database that sits out in the cloud, a content management system. And then you can have multiple users. The city's park and rec can be a user. The Basilica can be a user. The EDC can be a user. If there's a chamber involved, they can be a user. And in some of my cases, I got 7 or 8 different, what I call town fathers, who are users. And we're feeding their content through some RSS feeds and XML feeds that will automatically update the app and keep it current. So we try to do a data feed to keep it current on the content that changes regularly. So this is sort of the architecture of the system. That answer your question? Yeah. And the goal here is to make it one unified branding of what your community is about and what you have to offer, and be a tool that locals and visitors will use. Then you promote it, and so, and it's something that people can download. How do we get it used? Here's how people use it. Real estate people will say, well, just download the app and you can learn about our community. Right now today, you're asking people to go to this website, that website, this website, that website, and you're leaving it up to chance as to what people will discover about your community. I've been with hospital administrators who are trying to get in new doctors to attract doctors or teachers into the community. Download the app and you can hear it's a story to it. So again, the goal here is to make it a branding piece and deliver information that is positive information about your community. Okay?
Board members? Well, Mr. Little, thank you for coming over and presenting this to us. It certainly is a valuable tool that we can consider down the road here, depending on what direction this board would like to go in with something like that. but it is an additional tool that we can use, no doubt about it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
I got one question, but for Mr. Arjona, do we have something similar like that on the city end? No, it's for Mr. Arjona.
Asking the city manager.
City manager.
This is something that we could perhaps do together. But again, yeah.
We do have an app over City of San Juan, correct? Which would be the City of San Juan, Texas, right? SJ? This one right here?
Thank you again, Mr. Little. Safe travels. And you'll be hearing back from us either through us or through Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you. Move on to our next item on the agenda. It's presentation 7-1 is PSA Education Foundation representative to receive a promotional sponsorship check. Wow.
That'll be,
Leon and Velma de Leon?
this is De Leon. And
All right.
Mr. Leon as well can do this, and we're ready to, Laura will be able to take pictures of the board,
How do you want to do this?
hand it off the check. So-
Where's the check?
Get a big check.
There it
No
is.
big check.
Would you like for us to go down there and take a picture with you all?
Better up here demonstrating the check? Or up here?
You're good right here, like up in the front.
You guys want to get here in the middle, maybe? We don't have a giant check.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Is
She
Marlena
was
here?
going to be here. She's probably running late. If we could
Move on to the
skip,
next item?
yes, if we could address PSJA
Okay.
and Stephanie Mendez.
We'll move on to the next item, which is item number 4, PSJ Entrepreneurship Proposal Presentation, Stephanie Mendez, Career and Technical Educational Specialist. Welcome, Ms. Mendez.
Good afternoon or evening.
Actually, ma'am, can
Good
you,
evening.
get that mic?
Can you
It's a
put the
mic.
mic there?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a mic.
Yeah,
It's a mic,
and it's
Okay,
live.
fancy. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Mendez. I work with the FAR San Juan Alamo Independent School District. And I'm really, really excited to be here and talk to you guys about our entrepreneurship efforts in partnership with the City of San Juan and the San Juan EDC. We're basically helping students, PSJ students and parents create businesses and open their businesses in our Tri-City. So I understand a couple of years ago, there were conversations between our school district and the City of San Juan or the San Juan EDC of creating a business incubator. And for some reason, that idea didn't come through, didn't happen. So about a year ago, we revisited that idea, and that is why I'm here today with you, okay? So I passed out packets to you guys. There is a presentation, an MOU, and some other forms that I will walk you through. Okay, so first and foremost, obviously, we are a school district, and our mission is to help learners become productive members of society. Absolutely, that is what we're in business for. Helping our students make sure that they follow their dreams and they become the professionals that we hope them to be. Unfortunately, sometimes that is not the case for some of our students. Sometimes our students' only choice is to open a business. And why do I say that? Obviously, because we do serve a large population of undocumented students in our school district, right? A lot of our students, they have a lot of talent. They're very, very bright, individuals, and unfortunately, they are not able to be able to go ahead and work on what they studied. Another thing is that our school district understands that it is incredibly important for us to be able to take a well-rounded approach and not only help our students, but also help their parents, right? That is why at PSJ School District, we have 8 parent centers across our Tri-City. And these parent centers, either parents or legal guardians of a child that is in the school district, are able to take free courses anywhere between skills, for example, cake decorating, jewelry making, cosmetology, up to academics from STC, completely free of charge. The only thing that the parents have to do in return is do community service hours at their child's school, right? So we understand that it is incredibly important to also help our parents, because when our students are growing up, who are the first role models and mentors that they see? Obviously, their parents, right? So obviously, we understand that it's incredibly important for us to be able to help both the students and the parents. And we found that the parents that were taking part of these different centers were actually creating businesses. Whether it is, cake decorating businesses, floral arrangements, jewelry, cosmetology. And we learned that these parents created these businesses based on skills that they learned from our centers, but unfortunately, they don't have the business savvy skills needed to run their businesses, right? So what we did is we created a student-led entrepreneurship course, which you're seeing right now in your screen and in your PowerPoint. Those are some pictures that our students ourselves, they created a course and they helped the parents. They taught them anywhere between how to create a business plan, a business model, a website, all of those different topics that the parents did not know. So that's something that we want to be able to provide in our business incubator, be able to tap into our students' talents and expertise and be able to, create those win-win situations. So what we're doing here at PSJ School District is we're creating this business incubator to help the parents and the students. And you may be asking, well, why are you doing this? Okay, so there's 3 different reasons why we're doing this. Like, for example, in the presentation before this one, the person that was presenting was saying, there's different organizations out there that have websites and that are creating and giving this information to people, right? Well, it's the same concept here. There's a lot of different organizations that help people get started with business creation, right? There's the chambers, the EDCs, the university, so many other different organizations, but we want to be able to be a one-stop shop where students and parents go to the center and they're able to get helped on how, if they have a business idea, they're able to go there and create a product or a service. So this business incubator, which would be an entrepreneurship center, would actually be located in the city of San Juan. So I don't know if you guys are familiar to the old Sorensen Elementary in Standard Avenue. So that location was identified. It's currently right now vacant as we speak. It was identified to be able to host the center off of there. And what you're seeing in your screen is what our center would look like. So this is what the rendering would look like for our entrepreneurship center. This would be the inside of the incubator. So one of the things that we would offer there is we would offer a commercial kitchen for people in the community or parents that have a food product. And when they start, obviously they start from their kitchen, right? From their home kitchen. So what we found after conducting a focus group with our parent entrepreneurs is that some of them, they were selling like breakfast tacos or cakes, and they would get so many customers that they wouldn't be able to fulfill those orders because they didn't have access to a commercial kitchen. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but the only commercial kitchen in the whole RGV is located in McAllen. So people from Brownsville to all over the region go to McAllen to be able to do their products there. So we reached out to the owner of the commercial kitchen in McAllen. It's called Mi Cocina by the Hour. We told her, we shared with her our idea. She absolutely loved it, and she told us, instead of duplicating efforts and reinventing the wheel, let's partner so that we can offer a commercial kitchen in the city of San Juan to service, our community. So that's what we did. We're in the process of partnering with Mi Cocina by the Hour so that they can go ahead and manage Mi Cocina by the Hour. Yes, it's located in McAllen, Texas. The owner is Elizabeth Davis. She has over 20 years of experience in the food industry. She has had her kitchen for about 7 years already, and it is the only kitchen in the whole valley. After the conversations we've had with our Tri-City, other EDCs have reached out to her and hopefully partnering with her, but she is committed to partnering with PSJ School District and the city of San Juan, FAR, and Alamo. So that would be one component of our incubator that no other incubator in the whole region has, the commercial kitchen. Another thing is we want to be able to offer programming for our students and our parents, and that's what we're going to be starting this semester. We're going to be offering a program through Wendy Kennedy. So Wendy Kennedy is a program that helps people kind of explore the viability of their idea. Obviously, there are great ideas, and no idea is a bad idea, but not all ideas are going to be able to give you money, right? Profit. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do with our students and our parents. So we're creating these cohorts of students and parents to go through this program. And in the spring semester, do part 2 of the program, which is actually have a business plan in place and then be able to connect them with investors and be able to connect them with actual, mentors from the community. So that's what we're doing, programming, and then also there at the facility, how obviously in every school, there's lecture rooms, right? There's classrooms. So what we're doing is we're turning those classrooms into offices so that we can lease to potential entrepreneurs from the community and even nonprofit organizations that need a place to, host their operations from, but they cannot afford, rent. So we're opening that as well to the community so that it could be that one-stop shop for entrepreneurship in our Tri-City. So that's what we're doing right now. And what we are here for, we also wanted to share with you kind of like the process of how this would work. So obviously, this is an old elementary that is going to be renovated. I'm going to walk you through the process of how we're going to be doing this. So there's different phases. So our school district allocated $1 million to this project. And that $1 million will cover the renovations of the commercial kitchen, the multi-purpose area, and the re-roofing of the whole building, right? So by spring 2020, The commercial kitchen in the multipurpose area will be completely ready. The multipurpose area will be used to host any trainings, any workshops, any kind of master classes that we're going to host for students and parents, or even if you guys have an event there that you need access to, we can most definitely have that available for you as well. Now, phase 2 is going to be the actual grand opening of our commercial kitchen, which we hope to have by spring 2020. Phase 3 is the rest of the space, which is the co-working and the offices and the rest of the classrooms. We are planning to apply for EDA funding, the Economic Development Agency, and we hope that we partner with the 3 EDCs so that we can, propose and submit a good, strong proposal that shows our strong partnerships. And then the last phase would actually be to have our business programs housed out of that center. So we want to be able to create this center where students go in, parents go in, members of the community go in, and it's a whole entrepreneurship environment. So where we hope that all of our business programs, whether it is management, accounting, graphic design, audio video production, all of those programs, we hope that it's housed out of there. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with a college and university center that is also housed here in San Juan, across PSJ Bears, but that center is basically a one-stop shop for everything college. So what we hope is that this Entrepreneurship Center has the same concept. It is that one-stop shop for everything entrepreneurship. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a member of the community, you're able to walk in there and you have, access to co-working space, access to offices if you are in need of an office, access to programming, access to different key partner office hours, such as small business administration, the Small Business Development Center, even attorneys as well if you need legal help. We actually, our school district attorney firm, we reached out to them and we asked them if they would consider partnering with us and actually creating like a legal mentorship program for our students and our parents, and they agreed. So we're going to be offering legal services to the parents and the students, whenever they create a business. Obviously they need help with, how do I do a contract, or how do I do, like a partnership agreement, right? And they don't know how to do that. Or how do I register a business? I mean, you guys are the entrepreneurship, the economic development experts, and you may know there's a lot of research out there that shows that people have businesses and they're unregistered, right? And you guys are not able to claim that you helped people create businesses and you're helping people, tax purposes. So that's what we're here for, to be able to create that pipeline to the cities so that they can create their businesses in either FAR, San Juan, or Alamo. So that's where we're at right now. And then we're also going to be, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the program processes. So obviously this whole program is open to our students and our parents and members of the community who have a nonprofit organization. So the way that we're going to be doing this is through an application basis. That's what you have in front of you. We have an application process for the parents in English and in Spanish. And so the program is going to be available to the 22 parents that we worked with in the spring, that our students had that entrepreneurship course. Those parents are the ones that are going to be able to apply to this program as a continuation of that effort. Now, the parents are going to be able to fill out an application, go through an interview process that the EDC will be involved in. And for example, they're going to go ahead and be able to submit their application, be able to get admitted into the program. And then after all, then we're going to be able to start the program. So in the fall, they're going to take Wendy Kennedy program, and in the spring, the Kaufman program. And then as part of that, we want to connect them with a mentor from the community that's a business owner, an entrepreneur, and then potentially have them pitch their business idea to a group of investors, whether it is a loan officer from a bank or an actual, maybe even an angel investor. And then the last thing that we want is, okay, well, you already provided these parents and these students the programming and everything, so how are they going to start their business? Where is the money going to come from? So that's where we hope that we partner with the 3 cities and be able to start some kind of either business plan competition or some kind of grant, a mini grant for the parents and the students that go through these programs. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the McAllen Chamber of Commerce Innovation Grant. That's a yearly grant. I believe it's $5,000 a year. Currently, our cities, and to my knowledge, we don't have something like that in place. And the question is, why don't we? We are economic development, we're the EDCs, the chambers. And so that's the goal, to be able to start these conversations and hopefully have you consider opening those opportunities to help the parents and the students. And then the last thing that we wanted to cover is the proposal that we have for you. So about a couple months ago, we reached out to Mr. Arjona and Martha, and Martha attended our meetings, and so she asked us to put together 3 proposals to present to you for consideration, and so this is what you have in front of you. So the proposal number 1 that you're looking at in the screen is to be able to sponsor participants that are parents of a PSJA student. Now, we understand that we as a school district, it is our obligation to take care of the students. So we're not asking you to fund students. The school district is sponsoring the students. What we're asking is that you please consider sponsoring parents to go through our programming, whether it is the Wendy Kennedy ideation in the fall, the Kaufman in the spring, and access to the commercial kitchen, and even to a grant. So that's what you have in front of you. So proposal number 1 is asking for consideration to sponsor 2 parents and be able to open a mini grant of $2,500 for the parents as well. And then proposal number 2 is for you to consider sponsoring 3 parents. And proposal number 3 is to sponsor 3 parents, but without the commercial kitchen component. So that's what you have in front of you for consideration purposes. And then at this time, I would greatly appreciate any comments, feedback, or ideas that you may have. I'd be happy to answer any of that at this moment.
Information on the kitchen, how that would work, ma'am?
Yes. Okay, so the kitchen
What's the purpose of that? I mean, I need to, I can't really see the picture of that.
Okay, so let me walk you through a scenario, okay? So during this group, we had a parent that has a child in the school district, okay? And she's part of one of the centers, parent centers that we have at PSJ. She sells breakfast tacos, okay? So she told us that, there was this time that a school district approached her and told her, I would like to place an order for 750 breakfast tacos by this time. She was great, that's awesome. However, I cannot be able to provide that for you because I don't have the capability to be able to produce that many, food products for you, even though that's a great problem to have, okay? So like that lady from our own school district, there are people in the community that sell products such as salsas, tamales, even cakes, cupcakes, whatever the case is. And they have that little business on the side, right? And let's say they get so famous, so big, so successful that they get so many orders. Okay?
Sounds like Delia.
Like what?
Delia's tamales.
Perfect example. Perfect. Or even, I'm going to give you another example.
Corey's. Yeah, that happens.
Exactly. Perfect example. I'm not sure if you guys have gone to HEB and have purchased a barbecue sauce called the Jank. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that product. But the Jank is a barbecue sauce that was created by a teacher aide in Westlaco, okay? And this person, he would make barbecue sauce on the side just for himself. And then people started telling him, can you make one for me? And he started making one. And then he started selling it. And then he got so many orders that he couldn't make, so much barbecue sauce from his home kitchen, that he actually had to go through this commercial kitchen in McAllen to be able to produce a large quantity to be able to sell to people. Okay? Yes.
Are you asking, these people are going to rent the kitchen that we're providing? Is that your question?
So pretty much, I mean.
Yeah,
Yes.
This
The answer is yes.
That's what he's asking.
This is actually the first time I hear this.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, how is it gonna help? But I mean, I'm getting what you're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, to me, I mean, you go in there, rent it out, or?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how about I mean, is there
Time limit.
schedules or, I mean, how is that gonna
Yes,
work?
and I'm sorry, I
Because-
apologize, I did not include that on there, but I would be happy to send you the schedule, the pricing that we have put together. So just to give you a little bit of an example, so we already kind of hashed out what is a commercial kitchen, what is the purpose and everything, right? Okay, so the way that it would work is that Elizabeth Davis, which is the owner of Mi Cocina by the Hour, she would manage our commercial kitchen. Our school district would put the equipment, or it's going to put the equipment, it's going to put the actual building and pay the bills. Okay, so obviously light, electricity, water, that will everything be paid by PSJ School District. Mi Cocina by the Hour, which is Elizabeth Davis, will be providing coaching. Okay, so the way that it will work is that there will be a schedule that people from the community can rent the kitchen by the hour. Okay, and it's going to be, I believe, $32 per hour. Okay, a total of 20 hours maximum per week that we are going to be able to rent a kitchen. Because the whole reasoning behind that is if you are able to pay more than $20, 20 hours a week, you're pretty much capable of having your own commercial kitchen. We shouldn't be helping you, okay? So that's going to be how it's going to be working. They're going to be paying by the hour. Half of that money is going to go to her because obviously it's going to be paying for her time. She's paying, spending time with the entrepreneurs and helping them in, labels. What do you put in a label? How do you even do a label? Your branding, anything that has to do with coaching that entrepreneur, she will do. And then the other half will go to the school district. Why? Because that's going to be able to be sustainable. We want this Entrepreneurship Center to be a sustainable organization. Okay, so that is the goal of the commercial kitchen, and that's the way it would work. It would be by the hour and application basis. And if there's a member from the community, they have to be resident of the city of FAR, San Juan, or Alamo. If you're going to be funding a potential PSJ parent, they have to be committing to opening their business in San Juan. So let's say I'm going to be applying for either programming or the kitchen. In order for me to be able to get admitted to the program, I have to have a child in the school district, and I have to be a resident of San Juan, and I have to commit to opening my business in San Juan. You're not going to be sponsoring me and then me going to Edinburgh and open my business or go to Mission. You see what I mean? So the goal is for there to be an agreement in place that the parent, or in this case the applicant, is going to be opening that business in your city, and that's what you have in front of you. On that application, on the back page, it will say that after signing that application, they are committing to opening the business in your city. As well as we are requesting that the people that are applying to this program, they pay 10% of the program. So the cost of the program, whatever program it is, they're going to be paying 10%. And you as the EDC will sponsor 90%. And why are we doing that? Because we want them to have some skin in the game. That they don't know, that they just, oh, this is something for free, and they go 3 times and then they stop going. No, that's not what we want. We want them to.
I understand it's gonna be a process, and it could be 2 years by the time they become in business. It's hard. It's not easy, and I know you're doing your job and trying to present it.
No, I understand, and if that's something that you would like to explore, you can, of
But
course.
I think what we're looking at is, if we do this or we help these people.
What guarantees them, I know you have an application and they're committing to San Juan, but what guarantees that they will stay in San Juan?
Their agreement, they're signing that agreement.
Is there
If
any-
you,
If they break the agreement, what happens then?
then we can put together another agreement saying, if you do not open your business here, this is what happens. So what you have in front of you is a commitment and agreement that they will sign, making sure that they will finish the program, and if they do not finish the program, then they will be responsible of paying the full amount. Because we understand that it is an investment that you guys are making in them. And then to go back to your point, if that's something that you would like to explore, maybe it's not a grant, maybe it's not free money, maybe it's a loan that you put in place. for the people that finish the program. Maybe you don't want to give them, that mini grant. Maybe it's a loan. Or maybe you want to sponsor half of their participation and then, have them pay you back once they start that business. It's up to you. We are in the drawing board right now and would be happy to explore more alternatives. What we're here to present to you is a potential partnership to, help you create that pipeline of people that are going to open businesses and bring up the economy in your city.
We're looking at the three proposals, right? 85, 56, and 66, right?
Yes, and then if you want to, if you say, what, I only want to sponsor one parent as a pilot, we can do that as well. What you have in front of you is what we were asked to present to you.
Fluctuate because of participation, right?
Yes,
Obviously.
of course, yes.
How many of these participants, if I might, Mr. Holmes, real quick, there's a PSJ grant foundation, remember, Mr. Garza? The grant foundation, what is it? It's a PSJ grant education foundation. How does that, yeah, we just participated in that, right? Right. How does that come into play here?
Okay, so what we're proposing is that the PSJ Foundation is able to fund our student entrepreneurs with a grant, seed money, to start their business. Right now, they have not been supportive, or they haven't explored the possibility of helping, anybody but students. Okay, at one point we asked if they would consider maybe, sponsoring parents, but right now their mission, their goal is solely with students. So what we're, yes.
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because now we're not just assisting parents at the moment. If we were to commit to this, now since we're participants with the foundation, a grant foundation organization, now we've become participants both. Student, if they do assist, the foundation assists a student, and if we participate with the parents, so if we go that route, now we're participating fully with the program, which is a great program. Don't misunderstand me. The opportunity, I think, is great. There's just a lot of questions I still do have, and I'm going to try and figure out this. But first and foremost is what Mr. Garza was saying, and Mr. Garza here was saying was, how do you hold these individuals accountable to make sure that after receiving the benefits of the program, they're going to make the investment? How do you hold them accountable to the city? Secondly, would be that one. There are some other associations or foundations that can assist, which we are currently participating in. And if I'm not mistaken, the rundown was the first semester is the idea. So you're going to have people come in, kind of facilitate the participants with their idea. The
Correct.
second semester
is the business
you're going to
plan.
assist them with a business plan.
Correct.
And the third semester is you're going to try and partner them up so that somebody can guide them and be successful.
No, actually it's going to be at the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, one more thing. One of my other concerns is, as part of the EDC, I still feel some responsibility, not just for growth, but maintain. And it's somewhat difficult at times to kind of bring up a competitor against someone who's been established. And the example you gave in reference to tacos. If I'm a principal at a school and I need 700 tacos, so I'm going to start looking at what my options are. Do I go with a restaurant within the community, or do I go with someone else? Obviously, they have their benefits one way or another, but at times I still don't want to forget that our local businesses still need some support, and they're making it on their own, basically. And to clear up something, this EDC, and I'm sure FAR and Alamo do the same thing, is we have participated financially with our local businesses all the time. McAllen may do it or call it differently, but we do have many grants, we do have loans, we do have different other avenues that businesses can take full advantage of. Am I correct, Mr. Rodriguez?
If I may add, there's another side to it that we have not touched on yet. I do have a company that is in the food processing business that has an interest in relocating here. I have touched a little bit on the program. They have a sincere interest in coming over and being part of the city, establishing themselves in business here, training people, and they like the part about training it's going to be really seniors, juniors and seniors that are going to go through this program, and the parents. They're looking for a workforce, a trainable workforce. They are already in the food processing business. I'm not sure that they have applied to PSJA. They were considering applying. The CEO of the company has been traveling, and he is due back this week or next week, and we'll be able to further discuss this. But there's a site that might bring a food processing business here to the city, and that has interest in not only training, but also out of the product that is being developed during training and utilizing it for sale. Okay, so I don't want to say more about the company because I've yet to really sit down with the CEO and go over it completely. I was hoping that he would be present tomorrow when we actually sit with Mr. Hollis Rutledge and the grant writing staff to be able to discuss all this. And we may have him here tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but there is a company that has a certain interest in this. I'm not saying that we have them committed.
What you're
but
saying, this would be a possibility for
Yes.
the use of that commercial kitchen that would benefit San Juan?
Yes, and I discussed that with Stephanie and with Mr. Carlos.
If I may, first and foremost, I want to thank you very much for your presentation. That was spot on. You were very thorough with everything, explaining the way the whole program would work. My question to you would be, you're asking for the commitment from the San Juan EDC. Would the same go to FAR and Alamo, since it's all of PSJ?
Yes, we have already presented to the EDC board in Alamo. They already approved the budget. You guys are second, which is today, and then FAR should be next week. So all EDCs have already committed. And obviously, we have to go through the formalities of an actual, presentation
Right.
and budget approved and all of that, but all EDCs will be.
And we're the lucky ones because the building is here in San Juan.
Yes, exactly.
And by your conceptualization there of the building, it would look really nice. once you
And
guys are done.
I'd be happy to give you a tour of the facility. I know Mr. Rodriguez, he toured the facility as well. And if that's something that you're interested in, by all means, we'd be happy to host that for you so that you can kind of get an idea or visualize it, kind of be there. Sometimes it's different.
From $5,000 to $10,000, más o menos.
Right, about 66?
8 is the higher end.
8 was that was.
Yeah.
The highest proposal is 8, that's yearly, right? That would be
Yes,
yearly.
per year. Yes, per
So
year.
I have another question, Ms. Mendez, if I may. So I heard you say that the classes that would be being taught there would be by the universities? STC's already committed and UTRGV, or just STC?
No, these classes, the programming, Wendy Kennedy, Kaufman Fast Track, those are going to be offered in-house. So we applied to the programs to be able to be a certified site. We got approved, and we're actually going to be, hosting the programs ourselves. I'm sorry? For the students, we're going to be meeting with them on Fridays. I believe starting the second week of October all the way to December, and the parents as well. We're actually starting the first week of October. Yes.
We'd have a full staff there then, at this location, at this incubator location.
So
5,
the
10
goal,
people?
well, for now, it'll be me and Mr. Garza, for now. And then as we grow, we may have other staff, such as a receptionist, but for now, it'll just be the two of us.
Garza, begin with.
Mr. Eloy Garza, he's coordinator with our Career and Technical Education Department.
My question was, what's the difference between this and Collegiate? Because they do have a commercial kitchen.
No, it's not a commercial kitchen. It's more of like a lab for students to study, culinary arts. But it's not open to the community. It's not open for people to go and rent the, kitchen by the hour. It's fully equipped, yes, of course, but it's not open to the community.
That clarifies some. When you're using the phrase commercial kitchen, you're mainly you're mainly pointing, or your point is, it is for open to business, open
Correct.
for business, okay?
Yes.
You're not referring to that the equipment inside is commercial equipment, because a kitchen like Collegiate has commercial equipment
Yes,
inside the kitchen.
exactly.
And it is for lab purposes, which we have 11 and 12 graders there, correct?
Right now, it's only freshmen and sophomores at the collegiate, yes.
Will it be open for juniors and seniors?
Yes, of course, but right now, we don't have a culinary program, housed there at the moment. The
Will
goal
there be
is,
Purpose though?
that commercial kitchen and the collegiate is only for students, not open,
Only for
only for
instruction
instruction,
purposes.
correct.
This is for actually somebody
Correct.
could open up a business. This is the beginning, give you a taste of what it is like to fill an order of, 10,000 plates or whatever, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, of course. So the purpose of the commercial kitchen is if there's somebody that has a lot of orders, and they're not able to fulfill those orders from their home kitchen, but they don't have the funds to start their own business and actually pay rent on a monthly basis, that is, where the commercial kitchen comes into play.
Let's say today you ordered 700 tacos, they go through the process, they make them, they deliver. And tomorrow they ask them for another 700. Are they gonna be able to use the kitchen again?
Yes, up to 20 hours a week.
What happens after the 20 hours?
They
they're on
cannot,
their own?
yes.
You can't do 30 or 40 hours.
No, what I mean, after
Up
the
to
20, they
20.
have to go look for a business of their own.
Right, if they grow to that much, then yes, of course.
Hard to do 20 hours and open up a business.
Exactly.
And besides, I mean, and I'm all for business, don't get me wrong, especially mom and pop business. The only thing is that in something like this, those individuals don't pay light, I know that 10% is not gonna cover anything. Might even just cover the expense of them going in there, but they don't pay insurance, they don't pay taxes, they don't pay, any liabilities or anything like that. I mean,
This is
yeah, I
this is a
understand.
business incubator
Right,
project.
right.
Just to kind of incentivize somebody that might be even having the slightest idea of opening up a business, you just kind of giving them a little push. And there they'll figure out whether they're gonna be able to do it or not.
To me,
that's all
it's
it
very
is.
hard to give $7,000-8,000. I don't see any return back. I don't, I mean, that's just my.
Oh, well, you're not gonna see an immediate return, but you're trying to help the community here build businesses. And if we're gonna hold them to do their businesses in San Juan, that would eventually help us.
And maybe we could leverage, we already do the mini grants and stuff like that. Maybe cut one grant out and stuff and help cuts into this.
Bob, I see a lot more benefit in 7,000 for this than in fireworks. Come on. I mean, de veras, guys. I mean, this is really, I think this is well worth it. De veras, de veras.
Very simple.
Should we, sum up and let her finish the deal?
Yeah.
And then
Go ahead,
we
go
can
ahead.
discuss on our own?
Okay, now, let me ask you a question. What would you say, would be a metric of success for this program? In your opinion, what would make this program successful in your eyes? Of course, you mentioned return on investment, making sure that the parent entrepreneurs open their businesses in the city of San Juan since you're investing in them. To answer that question, we can put together an agreement that, makes sure that it makes them accountable so that they can open that business here in San Juan. We have that agreement in place, the one that you have in front of you, but if you feel like that's not enough, we can most certainly, do an agreement that, states that. But I would like to know, what would you say would become or would make this project successful in your eyes? Yes.
But you heard the question, right? In your eyes, what would be successful?
Business opening up eventually.
Pretty
Now,
obvious.
Plus.
And maintaining.
In the meantime, we are getting, what was it, 30 an hour, what y'all are charging, right? Who's that gonna charge?
For the commercial kitchen, $32 an hour for
So
somebody.
that's continuous.
We're not,
No, it goes to the district, right?
Right, half of it goes to the commercial kitchen, cocina by the hour, to the sustainability, like, Mr. Garza said, who's gonna pay the bill and the utilities, and that's what's gonna be paying that, those $32.
and Mr. Who's gonna be paying Wendy Kennedy and the fast track program?
So the school district will be paying that for the students, and what we're proposing is that EDCs consider sponsoring the PSJ parent entrepreneurs for those particular programs. Yes.
timeline on when, after finishing the program, they have a specific time that they are committed to build in the city?
So if you see on your application, we asked if they have a commitment to open a business in the city within 3 to 5 years. You know, if you want it to be sooner, we can most definitely explore that possibility, but we felt like, you know, minimum of 3 years, maximum of 5 years, they should, you know, opening their business. Like you guys mentioned, it's an incubator. It's kind of like the same concept when a baby is born premature, right? They don't know if they're gonna make it. It's high risk. They may die. Same thing with a business. When somebody takes the leap of faith and says, "I'm gonna start my business and become my own boss," they don't know if they're gonna make it. Exactly. They have no clue if they're gonna make it, but that's why we're here for. We want to be able to be that support for our students and our parents so that, you know, we also create that pipeline to the cities and we are able to develop our communities. You know, we're in the classroom all the time and we hear students say, you know, in order for me to be successful, I have to leave to Austin because that's the capital of, you know, entrepreneurship in Texas, or I have to leave to another place to be successful. And we hear politicians and we hear universities and community colleges talk about the brain drain, right? About our people, our young people that are very talented leaving our community. And this would be you know, a way to be able to keep them here, to have them start their businesses. And so we feel like there's a win-win situation for all parties involved. The cities, because it's a way of helping you, you know, with your economic development, creating jobs, making sure that you know, put taxes on products, helping our students, because obviously it's a win-win for the students by them being able to, you know, have their expertise in helping our entrepreneurs anywhere between management, accounting, graphic design, all the services that a business would need, our students would fulfill those, you know, services. And then the last item would be obviously, you know, our parents, because it's a way, you know, even more for the people who are undocumented, that they don't have a choice to be able to provide for their families. They have to have some kind of revenue, right? And then whenever they apply for citizenship, they're going to be asked, well, show me your track record that you have been a productive, you know, member of society. And by them having a business, it shows them, it has that track record that, yes, I may be an undocumented individual in this country, but it is completely legal for me to have a business here. I am paying taxes, I am employing people, I am giving back to my community. Here's my track record. So we feel like we are in a position right now, you know, you hear it on the news, you turn on the TV and you hear people being deported, you know, families being separated. And so we feel like, you know, our region needs economic development, our families, you know, need to have a way to provide for their kids. So we feel like it truly is a win-win situation. I'm sure you guys have a lot more questions, but I would be more than happy to get your feedback on, you know, how to make this better, you know, this proposal better, or if you have any ideas on, you know, other ways that we can arrange things, like instead of being fully 90% sponsorship, maybe you want to do a loan, maybe you want to do a payback, you know, where you fund the entrepreneurs, but then once they start their business, they pay you back. So,
I have one question.
yes, of course.
You and Mr. Garza, you said, Eloy?
Yes.
Either of you, both of you, or either one are business owners or have had businesses before? And I ask this because from here that I know of, Mr. Garza is the one who has, I would say, most experience in. Oh, Mr. Garza's Mr. Garza's would have and when you said in reference to you know, I think just by listening to them as friends is that the stress itself is a driver for them not to fail. And you know, it's one of those things that I see them how they're going to put in long hours because they're going to make sure their businesses don't fail. Am I wrong? And not having that safety net, I think, has helped you all. Am I wrong? I mean,
there's a lot of things that you need to do to be able to operate. I mean, it's you know, you could work 12 hours a day sometimes, or even more. You know, we've done it before, me and my wife and the family. So, I mean, it's all good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of trying to take care of our money. That's
Of
basically
course,
it. You know
of
what I'm
course,
saying?
absolutely.
Thank you, and it's a great presentation. We might just need more time to be able to look at it and kind of talk to Mr. Rodriguez.
Right,
and
it's
see
not
what
on
we
the
can
agenda
do.
for action
Right,
today.
Right. But, you know, maybe we could sit down and discuss a little bit more and be able to help something at least, you know, to give a little bit of something to the community. I mean, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong. Everything is, you see $7,000, and this is gonna be for the next, heaven knows, another 15 years or whatever. Hopefully, it's a productive program, and by all means, I mean, I hope it gets going. The only thing is that, you know, 8,000, I know you brought the firework display, you know, so, but of course, a great presentation, and basically, I don't have any more questions or anything like that.
Yes, of course.
I think it was
Very informative.
and I think it's very innovative and stuff, and it's just moving along with everything else the district is doing. And we're branching out to a whole bunch of other avenues, law, whatever it may be, and all that stuff. So this is just a managerial part and business part, something that maybe the district can grow, and obviously ours. The last time, next time we talk about it, making sure that contractual stuff like that, maybe tweaking it and stuff like that. Other than that, I think it's a good
Yes.
thing.
No, absolutely, and I completely understand you are just doing your job. To answer your question, Mr. Contreras, yes, Mr. Eloy Garza is a business owner himself. He has a consulting company. I myself have worked with a business incubator before working with PSJ School District. I worked with the business incubator in Westlaco as part of UTRGV. I'm also a certified Wendy Kennedy ideation trainer, as well as a certified Kaufman fast track facilitator. So we both have, he has a master's degree in marketing. I have a master's degree in business administration. You know, we have a strong network of people that are helping entrepreneurs. And so we feel like with both of our expertise, we can help both our parents and our students and, you know, come up with some kind of partnership with the city and the EDC and helping the parents and the students create businesses in your city. Okay. Thank you for
Ms.
your
Mendez.
time. I appreciate it.
We will toss the idea around and see what we can come up with, okay,
Yes,
as a
of
group.
course.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to our next item, 8.1, which is discussion, possible action, and first reading on our fiscal year budget 2019-2020.
If I may, we have the presentation by Marlena Bustamante, who did not show, but she did submit an application for a mini grant. She's not here to make her presentation, but she did have.
We just move it to the next meeting?
Can, okay.
To have her
Very well.
present that, yeah.
All right, and so we move on to let's see, that'll be on section 8.1 for the budget. Okay. There is a balance sheet that was turned in this morning by the finance director, and it has to do with revolving loan fund, and it's dated as of 8/31/2019. Mr. Leroy is present, and it would be good if you can explain this one, Mr. Leroy.
Mr. Rodriguez, before you move on,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lenny pointed out that we should probably act on that item and maybe table it so that we can.
Come back.
Oh, number 3? Is that number 3?
Yes, number 3. You want to put that in a motion?
Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to table that item so we can hear it in the next meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yeah, we were still in the presentation. Am I correct or am I wrong?
That was the last one on the presentation.
Let's win.
Number 3, that we
Okay,
just
so-
tabled,
so
so she
we
didn't come.
Okay, so now we're in section, item 3, okay.
Now we're on number 1, on 8.1. Okay, now you can continue.
There is a handout that will apply to the budget.
Mr. Ojeda, real quick. The reason why I had that question is because if we're just moving into open session items, what we just tabled is item number 2.
Number 3. 7-3, the application for mini grant. We skipped her because she wasn't here, but then, yeah, we already,
You look at item number 2,
we did 1 and 2 already.
open session.
Open session. Right?
Yeah, number 1. That's where we would have taken action for that, am I wrong?
Oh, to table it? Well, it was listed on the other one too. It's listed twice, I get you.
It's listed under presentation, okay? So the Ms. Bustamante did not show up for presentation, so we move on, and when we get to the open session, then we would have tabled it. Am I wrong? Okay. Okay, there we go.
1.
Yes. These are the people that have asked for loans and are still paying on them.
Is this the revolving loan?
This is the revolving loan, yes, sir. Oh.
This item, Commissioner, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Gonzalez. This item was, last week when we started reviewing the worksheet on the budget, one of my questions was, where is the line item for the revolving loan fund? The revolving loan fund had been an opportunity, as the young lady was saying, that it is a loan to help businesses, okay? So if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Arjona, Mr. Gonzalez, the purpose of this loan was to assist already established businesses in some improvements or additional sites or business, already established business. So the money had been loaned out to several businesses, and there was a question in reference to where were we at in the activity of the business. And if I'm not mistaken, I understood from last meeting was that there had been no activity in lending money because the city had taken over it as to recover the money pending.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Garza here asked for a report to get the exact amount of what is still available to see if we discuss and reopening it for activity. That answer your question? Right? Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot.
I know. I've been here 6 years, and I was here before I got here, so I don't know before that. I don't know exactly. But these are the people that have asked for money, and they still have balances on there that they're paying on.
Why is it under EDA project, listed under EDA project? Or am I reading this wrong? It reads EDA project number 08-0105-091.
I'm sorry, I don't see that.
Are you using the same one?
Oh, no.
You're looking at, okay. This should be,
What are we looking at? We're not looking at this?
go to the budget.
Oh, this should be the first page. Budget? Here? For discussion. Oh, for discussion. Yeah. Oh, line up 1.
Item on the agenda is first reading of fiscal year budget. That's why you gave us a letter from Texas National.
No, that has to do with the 50,000. That's another step, okay? This is the only thing that we're gonna be discussing right now. It's on the first page, yes, sir, of your budget. This was handed,
First reading or no?
Balance sheet.
very, very first page of the budget.
The 50,000, Mr. Rodriguez, was for another question we had.
That's another question.
Okay.
This is under 8-1. 8-1. Let's see it.
Looking at the balance sheet, guys.
One, balance sheet.
This was the document that was presented to us really this morning, okay? It still has to do with the budget, but this had not appeared before on the budget. So now we're presented it as part of the budget here, so you can be clearer and you can get an explanation from the finance director. I didn't get it till this morning.
At the last meeting, I recall, is like Mr. Contreras says, they just wanted to list who still had balances on there and who was paying. And this is the list that you all had requested.
Yes, the reason why I asked that question was because if I'm not mistaken, at one time, obviously before you came in 6 years ago, this was actually in the EDC.
Right.
Yes, okay.
Exactly,
So
that's
the
what y'all-
EDC was using this as a tool for businesses.
You all would administer the,
Yes. So that's how I remember.
No, the cash balance is 186,000. Yes.
Available or
This is how much cash we have, but I think Mr. Arjona has a
Yeah, this is money available back to it came back. However, we cannot utilize this money to lend them out. I spoke to Diana Serna from the urban county. This program is pretty much closed. I asked if there's any other monies available that we can probably lend out to businesses, and she said no. So make the long story short, these are monies that are coming back, but we cannot reuse it for, lending the money to somebody else. We need to close out the account. No, not necessarily.
It's gotta be general funds.
Well, hold on, Mr. Guajardo, Diana Serna, isn't she with the, urban county? So you're saying these funds are part of the urban county, coming from the urban county? And the reason why I have a doubt there was because why would the EDC handle urban county? That doesn't make sense.
I have no idea, sir. This is before we got here. I don't know how this monies or these accounts came to the city. I just know that we've been collecting the monies on the EDC's behalf, I guess. And when we talked about issuing out these loans back to potential business owners, they pretty much said, no, this program is over. So as a matter of fact, last week we reached out to Diana Serna because I was trying to get a hold of Lupita, our representative, the person that helps out. And she said, no, we're no longer, issuing out monies.
Urban county.
Urban counties.
I still
Are you
would
talking about
like
something
to
different
find
anyway?
out, how are we sure these are urban county monies? Can somebody look into that?
maybe
I think there was a question that
I don't remember that, Mr. Guajardo.
Where is this
The
coming from, these
EDC
monies?
wouldn't be handling
from
the
the
urban
state.
county money, that would be
Out
the
of why
city.
Urban County? Remember that you guys said you wanted to close it out? And we're in entitlement?
We've got a lot of research to do. This is the first time we see this document.
And-
But
and-
those balances that are due, those are large numbers.
That
What
would
do
be
we
the
do
second
to try to
question.
collect that?
that
Like
would-
Cano Produce, 60,000, they owe us 60,000?
yes,
They're back.
they're paid.
or we lend
They
them.
already paid it back?
No, they're paying back.
Yeah.
How much are they paying a month?
I don't recall how much.
60,000? I hope it's at least a couple
About
grand.
1,000 something,
years ago,
1,200 or
But
so.
the balance was,
$200 a month?
1,000.
it was I mean, it was a large amount. That's a small balance, because when we're in office, we
Lend them a lot.
yeah, we lend them, I don't know, we lend them about $500,000, if I'm mistaken.
I would just wanna make
Tucano's
sure that they're all
produce.
paying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In
It's
reference to
nothing.
Mr. Garza's, comments, I'm not sure if the total amount loaned to Cano Produce came out of this account. That's one. I mean, the other thing is, what has the city been doing to, because the EDC has not handled this at all, not just having it active, but you guys are sending letters, or they're sending you payment, or how you guys are recovering?
They come in and pay once a month in our office.
Way we could have another column that shows the original loan amount? Like, this is the first time I've ever seen this, so I don't know how much was originally owned. He said it was $500,000, so that would've helped me realize that, because they're almost there at 60,000.
We,
Back in 2008, when that was built.
Do we have the original
2009.
loan amount?
we have the files, so we could get you a list of what the original loan was and what the balance is up to date.
That would be very helpful for
Okay.
us. Thank you, Leroy.
We don't have the names of the business. We only
Like,
have
it just
names
says
of-
Cantu.
And
Like
the other
that
one,
I don't know what that means.
yeah, like
Mr. Guajardo.
like Nava also.
Yes, sir.
We don't know what business it is.
Cantu, if I'm not mistaken, is the cabin. And that we foreclosed, or that, I think that business went under for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Do the one in front of the city hall?
Cantu.
Cabinets?
No, that's
by
Cortez.
railroad.
Oh, that's
Isn't it?
Cortez.
That's what?
Railroad?
Yes. By the railroad.
Cantu era el
If
guy
I'm-
that passed away, no, they rolled
That-
over.
If I'm not mistaken, they got to the point, Mr. Guajardo, that, they closed the doors there, and the city kept some assets in there.
You're
Remember
talking
that?
about, this other big,
Right here.
right next to,
Anglo Iron.
Right,
Greg
correct.
Nava Jr., that was a trophy business. Remember that one, trophy business?
Tumbling, the tumbling place?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the tumbling. Yeah, you're the tumbling. Yeah, you're right.
The tumbling.
And-
Tumbling?
Yes.
The Nava, right
On
here
I
down-
Road.
On I Road.
Okay.
I don't know that this has anything
Castilleja is
to
a
do with
trading
it, but
post.
is this part of the small
Castilleja is a
business
trading post.
So I guess,
loans that you
Leroy,
were talking about?
I guess what we're hearing here, we're all trying to question and figure out who, do you have files on all of these?
Yes, we do.
Could you
Name of the
prepare another
business.
one with the names of the business and the original loan amounts for
I
our
sh-
next meeting?
I sure will.
We'll have a better idea of what we're looking at, okay?
Okay.
I'd like Mr. Rodriguez to look into, or I mean, find out,
On this account?
or somebody needs to find out where these monies came from. I mean, the 100, what is it, 186?
Was it Urban County or?
And then we decide what it.
There has to be a
can
paper trail somewhere, so I guess in the next meeting, if y'all could put all that together for us, so we could have a clear vision on what's going on, because this is, I mean, it's absolutely,
And see how the Urban County
Crazy.
came
you know, see where.
together
where-
with the EDC also. See that?
Can't be.
The 186 is no longer available.
For loans.
No.
That's what we're gonna have.
From what I hear, we have to close this account. We've already gotten word that we need to close it.
So when we close that account, where do we move the 186 to? To the
Have that 186.
operating money of the EDC?
You don't have that 186. It's lost. It's, you know, you get a grant.
I don't know that.
I don't know exactly what the intel of closing the account is. Maybe
Sir Juana, do you know what happens to the 186?
Mira, my understanding is that we need to close this account based whether the city is an entitled city or not. That's what they're gonna tell us how much money we owe back to the entity. And this is how I reached out to Ms. Diana Serna from the Urban County. She did say, no, we're not entitlement, we're fall under the Urban County. We're not alone, I mean, on our own. But this is a loan that we need to close out based on what we have. That's what they're gonna determine how much money we need to send back. But we'll get with the people that we were talking about this as far as closing the loans out, and we'll bring you that report at the next meeting. Exactly as to. As far as I know, we cannot reissue these monies out. Now, where the money is going to be,
For any other purpose?
Yes, because then you're saying the percentage may go back, there may be a chance that we're allowed to keep some of it, and they dictate, or let us know where we can.
That's what we're gonna find out.
This account is owned by the city, or EDC?
Well, we had it, so it might have been initially from the EDC, and then for whatever reason, it was transferred to the city. I have no idea why that took place. We have this account. That's what we have in the books, yes.
And right now, they're gonna tell us exactly what, whether you're gonna capture that money back?
Right, and let me rephrase it. It's not that it's with the city, but we're taking care of these monies.
Our financial.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Rojas, real quick. Mr. Juan and Mr. Gonzalez, who's asking you to close it?
That was the entity.
The call, originally, the call made to the prior finance director, and then he left, and then about 3 months or so, they called back again, saying that we have to close this account, and
Who
there was
called?
a. I don't remember the name of the person or what entity it was from.
I
Somebody
think,
from the
I think
state.
that what I see here is there's a lot of lack of communications between who knows and what knows. Maybe put it together a little tighter and get names, who told you, who owns it, how, you know. I know Mr. Arjona said he talked to Mrs. Serna, right? That's one name we got. We want to know the rest of the names, who's involved. I know, I remember that guy that was here before.
It's real simple, yeah, real simple, Leroy, just find out
He
who
brought it
called
up.
you, who called you to close the
Sure.
account. and
No.
why.
Fajardo, the reason I have those questions is because I know for a fact that I can remember this, this is what I remember. The EDC had this money, it was the EDC was using it as a tool. Now, just because the EDC utilizes doesn't mean that at the end of the day, the city's out of it. The city still has to approve whatever we decide as a budget, and the city, the finance department has always worked with our budget. If in case, for some reason, I know that this fund stopped showing up in our account summary, it's starting showing up in the city account summary. Can we just not transfer it back to the EDC and let the EDC do its job and using it as a tool?
The city had it.
That's what we're trying to find out, and what I just heard from Mr. Arjona is, they're just handling our books, it still belongs to us, this whole loan program, and there's a balance out there, it still all belongs to the EDC.
Okay, that's the question though. I mean, if that is the case, then we should continue. Okay, so, and Urban County, really, I don't see how Urban County falls into the EDC, because if it originated from the EDC, wouldn't it be the half a cent part of it? The sales tax?
Right now, we're in the exploratory phase, it sounds like. We need more information. We need all the files for all these loans. We need to figure out on day one what we started with, the dollar amount that we started with, and when we started dishing out all these loans. And then when it went back to you, and now we're gonna fix it and go back to us. We already found out that we probably cannot issue no more loans, but if there is a balance out there, we need to
What's
take
gonna happen to
possession of it and deposit it into an account that we can use, right? Does that make sense? So we're still learning on, so we're gonna request a lot more information from Leroy and Mr. Arjona for our next meeting, and we'll continue to proceed.
Find out where we got the loan from.
And also who's telling us to close the account, right? Okay, is that fair enough? Can we move on?
We're good. Whoever you all speak with, please make them aware of how this is function. Yeah, put it in writing, send an email and make sure.
They can put it in writing.
If I would have known that it was gonna be for discussion, I would have prepared myself or ourselves and bring that information over, but we were not aware that this was
Well,
gonna
for
be.
next time, because I didn't know,
presented.
we didn't know either.
We talked about the budget, but not about this
We'll
particular item.
continue to work on this one
Yeah,
for the
but we'll
next
do.
meeting. So, Mr. Rodriguez, please put this on the next meeting, okay, for additional information. Okay, then,
Which bad that they don't know what they're talking about or what's this coming from. We ought to make a presentation so we can better understand.
But I'll bring it at the next meeting and we'll present it.
Rodriguez, then we'll move on to the first reading of our budget.
Okay, let's go to page, you have before you page 40 of 89, okay? This is what was presented by finance for, this is part of the EDC budget that pertains to the city. This is the section. Okay. The next question that needed to be addressed, if you'll go to page 38 of 89, is the miscellaneous revenue in the amount of 50,000. Now you have the letter before you from Texas National Bank dated March 8, 2018, and it cites the San Juan EDC EDA project and the number. And in the body of the report of the letter, in the first paragraph, it indicates the new proposed project component to use the remaining funds puts the original $728,300 project cost over by an estimated 50,000. The next paragraph says Texas National Bank is committed to assisting the completion of this new project, proposed project component, by committing up to 50,000 needed to complete this project. These funds are readily available, unencumbered, and committed to the project. Unencumbered, okay? If you define unencumbered, that means these funds weren't expected to be utilized, but they were committed in the event of, okay? So I still don't know whether this was actual revenue, was it actually used, was it actually presented in a different way other than committed in the amount. This kind of looks like almost like a letter of credit saying you have 50,000 available in the event that you need this for this project. You were going to make a call, right, to the auditor, and I don't know did you have the discussion with the auditor?
Yes, I did talk to the auditor right before the meeting. She basically put it as a receivable because the previous director gave her the letter and told her that we were going to expect the $50,000. So
Did we actually use it? Did we actually obtain the 50,000? Because it says here that it was over the project cost, but it says it's ready to be committed, but we don't have anything in addition to that saying, here's a deposit, here's the amount.
no.
Okay, so this is where we are again, 50,000.
Right.
So if I can sum this up the way I understand this, guys, for all of us to hopefully understand the same way. So last time we looked at our budget, we had a miscellaneous revenue item which said $50,000, and we said, what the heck is this? What do you mean miscellaneous revenue? Went and found it, it sounds like. It was a $50,000 that Texas National Bank was gonna ante up to complete all of the construction that was gonna be needed to extend that water line in that project. So we put it on our books as revenue, right? That's where we're at right now, and he's trying to get clarification from Leroy as to why is it a revenue.
But it was revenue for the prior year, not for the current budget year.
Prior year.
Yeah.
So then can we just, instead of putting it under miscellaneous revenue, can we just put there Texas National Credit? And
We're not
parentheses?
putting it on next year's budget.
Okay.
We're
so
not.
it'll wipe out. But for somebody that looks at this 10 years from now, so they can know what it was.
Okay.
You can just identify that miscellaneous, maybe in parentheses, Texas National, whatever, however you can sum up that letter, that's what it is.
We can rewrite the line item.
Yeah, just identify it somewhere for everybody's purpose. Even though it's not gonna be part of this upcoming year's budget, but for the history, it can be clear to everybody, okay? Because it does leave a little, room for doubt, like, well, what was that, And the more time passes, nobody's gonna know even more. So I think right now is the time to identify it. Put a description next to it somewhere. Yes, sir. Right, so we're gonna complete all of these things and. Fully transparent with everything. I think that's.
Well,
the
and
only way we
I
should
think
operate.
those monies were not, like Leroy is saying, not the full 50,000. It was up to 50,000 to complete the project, because at that point, if you may recall, whoever was here at the EDC, was that the line was going to be extended north instead of coming west. So at the end of the day, it was not cost effective going north through the bodega, and I forget the name of that bodega, or coming over this way through the right-of-way. So what we decided was, yeah, I have a couple, is use those monies, utilize those monies to extend the line over to the bank. So if I recall correctly, when the previous director was here, he said, well, we need 50,000 from this company. And what I said was, we cannot charge you 50,000 because this is an EDA grant. You can put the rest of the monies that is needed for. So at that point, that's what we're looking at to see if we recoup any of those monies. Not 50,000, it must have been, I don't know, 15, 17,000, something like that. But we'll make that annotation on it.
Yeah.
To
please,
reflect
just
not
clarify
50,000
it.
node. Right.
Yeah, it should have probably never even been under revenue either.
Exactly right.
So now that we know, just identify what it was.
Okay.
Yes, sure, real quick. So to begin with, we don't know if it's 50,000, right?
Not 50,000, that's for sure.
For sure, it's not 50,000.
Right.
I understand that, but if I understood you correctly, Mr. Juan, the whole reason why this was put in our table was because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Juan, after the project was done, there was still some money. I'm not gonna say money left over, but there was still some money to be used. No?
In fact, we went over budget.
There was no
was
more
over
money,
budget.
and these guys said, if it's gonna be 50,000, we'll cover it.
Now, there was additional funding. There was additional funding after the Lexus project. So we opt to use those monies to extend the line. Remember, they were supposed to be for that plaza on 495 and I Road? That's the additional funding that you're talking about,
Okay.
but not after the project.
It's not leftover funds, it's additional funding. Where did the additional funding come from? Well, I'm asking where
It was a total project. So let's say 700,000. Lexus project was, let's say 650, or let's say 600,000. But we had 100,000 additional surplus monies on the EDA grant. So we're saying, okay, how can we use these monies? The environmental was done, the study was done only in that area. Were you still here when we ended the project or no?
Hold on, and let me tell you, I'm still trying to figure out what the difference between leftover and additional is.
Let me just say surplus instead of leftover. After the Lexus project.
Because think about this, if the total amount is 700, right? The cost project is 650, there's still 50 there. Am I wrong? Am I just not getting this? There's 50 there, right? Okay, so if I remember correctly, there was 50 there, and we had some discussion in reference to how best use it because of the survey in that area done.
Yeah, it was more than 50. More than 50,000 available, 100 and plus change. What we can do, we can have EDC look into those files and get you exactly what was it that was the monies for the Lexus, just to complete the Lexus project. And then how much more money it took to run the line from the Lexus all the way to the bank. That's where the project went a little bit over. Right. So they have the files to EDC that they can show you. Right, because before we were contemplating the idea of utilizing the line somewhere else. So the bank said, hey, I need some water and I need these improvements. So we were committing 50,000. But then we came back and said, you know what, the thing changed because we can't go up on the right of way nor by the bodega. So what we did was let's utilize those monies instead of losing them. Let's use them for extending the water line or whatever it was, a utility line from the Lexus all the way to the bank.
Is that what we used for the right of way that we had TxDOT or?
No, that was behind it.
Well, weren't these people gonna give us that property or easement to do that?
That was it's in the books with EDC when the previous director was there. I really can't answer that because I was not in those negotiations. We were here, but not really hand in hand with them.
If I may, let me just go directly to Mr. Quiroga from Texas National Bank.
Files, I mean, they can go through them
And say,
and check them out.
was there $50,000 not only committed, but was it paid out? That would probably simplify everything, because if you had money left from the original project, it's not the 50,000. It had monies to do with the original project amount. all I need to know is, this is a letter from the bank. And all I need to know really, and to present to the board here is, was the $50,000 given to the city? That's it.
You know what, and to be honest with you, it might have been presented when Mr. Guerrero was here. I don't remember that. But we'll look into it, or they'll look into it.
I'll do that first thing tomorrow. Just-
Okay, then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah. All right, the only thing left now is on this budget, the way it appears, we still lacked the revenue sales tax for August and September. Is that correct, Leroy?
That's correct.
And we will have that amount definitely. The next meeting on budget for final budget is September the 17th. And we should have that amount of money before September 17th, right?
Our sales tax comes in between the 10th through the 15th.
Remember this month?
So our next meeting would be the 17th, okay? That's the way we had projected, the 3rd and the 17th. So hopefully we will have that amount, and that would be the final presentation on the figures. Seventeenth, if we talked about the 17th, I think Mr. Arjona needed it definitely before the 27th. I think that's what you indicated as well. And it has to be done definitely before October the 1st. So, I mean, I don't know unless it's going to be accepted as a final budget without the final amount coming in for the sales tax.
We're still gonna need another month of sales tax.
Yeah.
So budgets are driven by projected sales tax revenues that come in. If you'd like, we can plug it in. Now, there may be some adjustments that needs to be made, whether it's more or less. And then at the end, it's just gonna be that 1 month, unless you wanna leave it as is. That'll give you a better picture, yes.
Would read like you wanted, estimated amount instead of proposed, but
That's all we're missing, the revenues?
that's it. Everything else, with the clarity on the 50,000, and it was only because it was viewed, and you had questions on that, so.
The other item would be if this board considers helping that incubator project, can we later come back and get it out of the reserves and with a budget amendment, or do you have to adopt it at this budget?
Get it out of the reserves, is that what you said? Well,
Decides to do that.
there are other areas in the budget now where that amount could be,
Okay.
the budget could be amended, and it could be taken from that amount.
Money is under
Depending on-
promotionals
Yeah.
that you can use. There's monies on promotionals.
But that would be
can
amending
use.
the budget and the line item and the way you see fit to cover whatever amount
Did she
you will
ask
decide on.
for a timeline on this? Like when she needed a response?
On the,
Incubator?
no, actually, that's why I scheduled a meeting with the consultant with Hollis Rutledge tomorrow. It's at 11. And yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so are we gonna do our first reading or no? That's the way this is listed on the agenda.
Can the first reading change?
This is where we're at. This is the first reading.
So that is the reading.
Yes, sir.
So we concluded with the first reading of the budget. Any more questions or comments on it? No? Okay.
You want it corrected first before you do the first reading? No, it should be the same.
It should be-
Corrected now?
First reading, second reading should be identical.
So what do we have to correct? We can't change the 50,000 because we don't know. He's gonna have to go look tomorrow. Okay, that's for last time.
That was a question
Is
you
it
had.
Previous year. Is there anything that we have to change then for this year? This
The
year's budget?
RLF, if we find out, the RLF, the revolving loan fund, if we find out if it does come back to the EDC or not, or we just wanna drop that?
And that one, we can always transfer it after the budget is
Without
adopted.
affecting the first reading.
Right.
So I'm sorry, Ms. Palacios, what change were you referring to?
how we're gonna accept it as it is was, or if y'all were changing
Or
something.
if we're changing
That's why-
anything.
So if it's the, so if it's gonna be the same, then you can do the first reading.
Okay.
as it- yes.
Mr. Ojeda, one more question, Ms. Palacios. If we do decide to make changes throughout, we can still like transfer, amend it? Okay, good. So that option will always be there. There you go. Oh. Motion to approve as is.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve, the budget as it was read by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. The next item was, as stated by Mr. Contreras, it was back to the mini grant, that was, this was the action portion of that mini grant that we tabled on the presentation. Do we want to have a motion to table this as well?
I second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Sanchez and a second from Commissioner Villegas to table this item as we did with the presentation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is number 3, consideration and approval appropriating $3,112.07 for the purchase of promotional material.
There are promotional materials that EDC should have on hand. There is really nothing left that we can utilize for any type of promotional event or anything like that. So
What are you referring to, Mr. Rodriguez?
there's a.
Cups and things like that, or what?
Yes, there's a list.
Oh, there's a list
yeah.
provided?
And you'll find it there on,
Number 3?
on 8-3.
Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Juana, do we still have anything that was left? Remember, we had tons and tons of stuff, cups, pens. We gave everything away?
Motion to approve as stated, Mr. Ojeda.
Got a motion to
Second.
approve and a second, the $3,112.07. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Do we have anything in executive session? Do we do? Session on, okay. Then let me go ahead and read. Pursuant to section 551.071, consultation with attorney, deliberation regarding San Juan Economic Development Corporation, BBVA account. It is 7:37, and we are now going into executive session. Okay, it is 7:57. We are now out of executive session, and I'm now reconvening this San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting back to order. Do we have any action to be taken as a result of our executive session?
President, I'd like to, make a motion to ratify the acceptance of $4,000 from the account that was, discovered. Authorize the acting director to, obtain the, history of this account along with the, cancellation of this account.
A second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
We got a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. This meeting is now adjourned.